It is October 9th, and it's time for a fall sail. This time of year, weather is everything, and we have a good weather day today. Light wind, fairly warm for October. It's going to be about 60, and I've got the outboard running on Baker's Dozen here. We are up to the top of the varnish mast. Here we are. I'm going to cast off and be sailing in just a little bit. We have other boaters, pontoon, big V8, noise, and over here we have the Saginaw River rear range light, our lighthouse, built about, what was it, 1878, I think, something like that. And the mouth of the river dead ahead. Here is where the power plants used to be, right along the river here, where you see 3 concrete pads, and then just to the right some steel sheet piling. There were 8 generating units that were coal-fired. Back behind now we have a big yellow plant, which is the newest one. It's oil and gas fired, and next to it on the left is a kind of a gray, big gray place that I think of as the new generating plant because it was built within my memory. It's coal-fired, and it is scheduled to be taken out of service within the next 3 years, I think, which I find really surprising. But the electric utility is transitioning away from coal generation, and they're going to continue to run the big yellow plant, but the gray one I think is going out of service. Then we move around here and we see a bunch of brown sheet piling, which is where the DNR has a big public boat launch, and apparently they're doing some major renovations on the boat launch. They've had it closed off for a few weeks now, and I see that sheet piling has been installed. I presume to allow them to do some dredging or something, or some improvements on the other side. So the boat launch is out of service. Just to the right of that, under the power tower, we have the Bay City Yacht Club right at the mouth of the river. And then a little farther to the right about where you see that sail, or those sails right now, is where there used to be a big dock where I worked in the summertime renting sailboats, selling gas, and doing sailing lessons. So here we are. I don't know what those boats are. Apparently a race of some kind today, maybe. Here we are at the mouth of the Saginaw River. We got a tree with cormorants in it. They're migrating through. We have the green buoys up here, marking the starboard side of the channel on the way out. Beyond out there we have the Dredge Spoils Island, where they dump dredgings from the channel. We look across here, we have the red buoy, we have a old range light post with cormorants on it, and then we have the Saginaw Bay shoreline. The structure back here is the front range light for the channel, showing the freighters and all how to line up in the channel. We have the shoreline looking around to the north, and in just a bit I'll be raising sail. Now we have the sails up. Here we are with my Seafarer insignia. The wind is much lighter than I had been led to expect. The forecast was for winds that were kind of at the upper end of where I was comfortable going out on a cool October day by myself, but we have less than I expected, so things are less exciting. We have another sailboat out here. Let's see if we can move in on that. And I actually am moving along a little bit here. Let's see. We see the shoreline up here, and not a lot of progress, but that's okay. The wind should pick up in a little bit, I expect. It's cloudy. Back here we have, trying to steer and talk at the same time and be a videographer, we have the mouth of the river and the power plants that we had passed earlier. Shoreline, trees turning just a little bit of color, not much so far. And then this, what we see down below in the boat. We have the table in the middle. We have a sail cover, we have the forward cabin, we have seat cushions down here, and that's it. I've got the boat set to sail herself, more or less. It's kind of hard to do when there's almost no wind, but I wandered forward so we can look and see what the boat looks like from up forward. Here's my jib looking up. Here's the masthead, and we're just barely creeping along here. The other sailboat has given up and is headed in, but I'm going to enjoy this fall sail. Walk aft here. We'll turn around and look forward. All my varnished mahogany, and wait for the wind. I've got to go back and steer. The sun has just come out. The weather is confounding all expectations here. Less wind and fewer clouds. It was supposed to be pretty cloudy all day, and not rainy, just cloudy. And there was supposed to be more wind. The wind is out of the north, but not blowing very hard at all. So we're just creeping along. I'm hoping it'll pick up a little bit. If I had deployed a larger jib, I would be going faster, but then when you're sailing alone, it's easier to have too little sail than to have too much. I look around here, we see the island. Here, Dredge Spoils Island. They've been dredging this summer, and they deposited a bunch of more stuff on the island, making it bigger, or higher at any rate. And here we are sailing along. This is the, as I calculate, 57th, 58th season I've sailed on, Baker's Dozen. No, 62 minus, it's the 55th season. And this is Baker's Dozen, the boat's 62nd season under sail. So she's an old timer, and I am too. So I finally got a little wind. The wind was really light out here. It went to 0, and then it picked up a little bit out of the northwest. And we have lots of dramatic clouds around here. Living on the water is like living in the western U.S., where you see long distances, get lots of cloud images. At any rate, I am sailing a course of about, what did we decide this was, about 52 degrees. And right now that will take me to one of our permanent lighted markers on the shipping channel. The dredged shipping channel is marked by floating buoys, but they, 20 some years ago, installed permanent towers at the entrance and halfway in, and I'm sailing toward the halfway in one right now, and I'm sailing a compass course, which I don't often do. I'm doing that because the tower is not always visible. When the sun comes out, the sun is low in the sky now because we're getting into the fall, and when the sun comes out, it shines on the tower and I can see the tower, and then when we go into a cloud, I lose the tower and I have to just rely on my compass course. So that's what I'm doing, steering by the compass and aiming more or less at the tower. The whole idea is not to get way upwind. I was sailing close to the wind earlier because that gives you a little more speed when there's almost no wind. You get apparent wind, the combination of the boat's speed and the wind speed. And the trouble with sailing upwind is that you eventually have to turn around and go back downwind, and then the boat speed is subtracted from the wind speed, and you feel like you're going nowhere when it's a really light air day. So now I'm sailing approximately wind abeam the boat to the right angles of the boat's course, called the beam reach, and that is a fairly efficient way to sail, and I'll be able to turn around and go back. We look around here, and here we have the dredge spoils island, and then farther back we'll look and see the generating plant at the mouth of the river. We'll do a quick shot here. I'm headed back in, headed toward the mouth of the river up here. The wind is extremely light. Two more sailboats came out of the river. One of them is over here, and the other is over here. But they turned around fairly quickly after they got out here, and they're both headed back in, it looks like. So we'll see what happens. I wish we had a little more wind. Now here's what's greeting me as I enter the mouth of the river. I just noticed, so I started my outboard. The wind is really light, boat's barely moving, and here we have a crane ship, a heavy lift crane ship, European I suspect, that's been delivering windmill parts. We get lots of windmill parts here because there's a lot of windmills being installed. And this vessel has brought a bunch of windmill parts over from Europe, I'm guessing, and we'll see when we get closer. Getting closer. I'm off on the edge of the channel. I'm in 16 feet of water, so they can't hit me even if they tried. Power plant over here is in the sunlight. All I can see is big lift on the vessel's superstructure. And its name is Happy River. Sounds like it's Asian. Here's my second big commercial vessel meeting me on the way in. This is a Great Lakes vessel, a tug barge combo. I think they were delivering fertilizer or something earlier, and now they've departed the dock, coming down the river as I'm heading up the river to the marina.